Hello, everybody. We have a really special guest today on Brain Fresh. We have Dr. Michelle Gooding. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Lovely to be here.
Welcome. Lovely
Thank
to
you very much.
have you. I'm so distracted by your wall. You're gonna please tell us, please share how
Yeah,
did you get that into I think your home? At first
yeah.
I
Well,
thought you were flying, right?
this is my garden office, and
Oh,
it's an upcycled piece of an Airbus A320-232. That's what its model number was,
oh my
and
gosh.
it's 5 windows long, and it's half an aircraft cabin width.
Oh,
So
I
there are glass
see.
doors there that look out into
Yes,
my garden.
yes.
And it had to be craned over my garden wall, and it landed about 2.5 years ago in my back garden. So I'm beautifully privileged to work from here, and
Wow.
the sky's the limit when you get
Oh.
coaching from me.
Too perfect. Too perfect. I love it. Well, that's wonderful. I have so many questions, but I think we'll focus. We'll try to focus. Well,
Okay.
please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Michelle. I'm based in Durham in the UK,
Okay.
and I'm a coach, and I work with overworked and overstretched doctors to help them avoid burnout and do the work they love.
Well, thank you so much for your work. It's really important. One of my colleagues just published a paper with a national group of docs here in the US that are very interested in supporting people with burnout. And her name's Dr. Amy Sullivan. And she published with Stanford and some other institutions. And they found the doctors that were well were actually the outliers because there was so much burnout
Yeah.
that the ones that were actually well were the rare ones, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're doing your work. Please stay at it. Yes.
Well, I love it.
Yes.
So yeah.
Oh, I'm
Mm.
glad. Can you share some of your medical training journey with us, please?
Yes, I trained in 2 medical schools, which is unusual, but again, both in the UK, one in
Okay.
Leicester, and then I transferred up to Newcastle and finished my clinical training there. And then I
Gotcha.
practiced as a GP or family doctor uh,
Uh-huh.
for 22 years in County Durham in the UK as well.
Got you. And tell us more about that setting. Is it very urban, rural? What kind of
It
is
was
that setting?
mixed.
Mixed.
It was
Okay.
mixed urban and semi-rural. So we had
Gotcha.
a beautiful village general practice, and I was a archetypal village doctor, which was a privilege.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Yeah. So you saw all the generations and watched
yeah,
families grow together and yeah.
absolutely.
So
And
births and loss, everything, huh? The whole life
um,
cycle. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the whole life cycle,
Mm-hmm.
continuity of care, all those beautiful things that family doctors value.
Yes, I love
Mm.
that. We just this weekend we celebrated my mother-in-law's 90th birthday. So
Wow.
we had a big celebration. All the families came together and it was really just lovely. And
Yeah,
she
special.
stood up and gave a little speech about how important, family and love is. And, we're just like,
Oh, that
so it
sounds
was
wonderful.
very special. And I'm sure, I'm a neuroimmunologist and I get to see people as well, like through many generations, even,
Mhm.
even as a neurologist, we don't usually get to know people when they're young, but I see sometimes pediatric and teens, multiple sclerosis. So I have had the privilege of watching some of my patients, start to have children or become grandparents and, watch the different life cycles. So that's
Brilliant.
been really special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. Okay, well, tell me, how does a doc that practiced for over 20 years then start to help your colleagues with burnout? How did that happen for you?
Um, in COVID, Mary, there was
Oh,
just
okay.
that inner discomfort within myself that I
Yes.
knew I couldn't be the doctor I trained to be, and I couldn't be the doctor I wanted to be. General practice has changed dramatically here in the UK,
Okay.
and I'd been a GP trainer, so I trained other doctors to be GPs, family doctors for 15 years, and
Okay.
I loved coaching those junior doctors and those
Mm-hmm.
trainees. So I'd done a bit of coaching, but in COVID, I enrolled on Tara Moore's Playing Big course, and Tara's an amazing coach in the States. You may
Okay.
be aware of her
Mm-hmm.
Playing Big
I've heard her,
book.
yes.
And I just got hooked.
Okay.
That was the first step. And then I gifted myself some coaching because I realized I'd lost touch with myself and my direction and my purpose.
Mm.
And that was the best investment I could have given myself, because it did enable me to define my purpose. But what it did do, the most important thing was it enabled me to find my courage to leave my beloved general practice and start working as a coach to support other doctors and to give back to my profession.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. It's interesting because I'm going to speak also today with a doctor by the name of Dr. Sapna Hu, and she just made a workbook to try to help docs who find they're losing themselves, like you said, you know. So that's one of her. She has a podcast called The Worthy Physician, and so she's also trying to help you with that sense of loss. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I just heard, you know, Jane Fonda, she's the actress
Mm-hmm.
from, yeah. So I just heard her interviewed on a podcast. Um, called Wiser Than Me. And so it's a podcast where they interview older women, and they were talking about the like the all the insight you had maybe when you were young, you know, like when you were a young girl before you knew there were barriers to things, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so like how to get back to that. So Jane Fonda was saying like her third chapter was to go back to really where she started and
Mm-hmm.
to try to figure out what she knew earlier in her life. Do you find that with
Yeah.
any of your clients?
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say almost all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because life keeps lifing at us and we just lose that connection and that knowing that we did
Hmm.
once know and we did have those dreams once upon a time. So yeah.
That's neat. And isn't it wonderful when you actually, do you want to share a story, of course, without anything identifiable about maybe a client of yours that then had that insight of something they woke up to like, oh yeah, I did want to do this, or that was
Yeah,
important to me one day.
I can. Yeah. One of my clients, she was an amazing doctor and she was on kind of core medical training here in the UK.
Okay.
There was just this inner discomfort, this inner discontent. She couldn't put her finger on what was missing. And she had probably 2 or 3 coaching sessions as part of an 8 session coaching program with me. And by session 3, she realized that, yes, she was brilliant at using the left-hand side of her brain and her problem-solving thinking and her analytical thinking, but what was missing was the creative side. So she did an interior design course
Isn't that
and
neat?
made a brave decision to leave medicine to become an interior designer.
Okay. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, you've shared your personal experience with coaching that you said
Mm.
you were introduced to it and then you decided yourself to invest in yourself.
Mhm.
And then tell me, what is it like who should know that you exist in your area? How do you work with people? Are you more virtual? Do you meet people in person? Do you have clients just in your town or
Mhm.
more nationally? Or how do you work with clients?
Well, if clients are local, they come to me and step on board my coaching cabin,
Oh
Mary,
gosh.
so that which is
Oh,
wonderful. But because of the beauty of Zoom, I can coach any
yeah,
doctor in the world, which is amazing.
that is
Uh,
amazing.
I work on a one-to-one basis, and
Nice.
I've got a variety of coaching programs, which are short haul, long haul, and medium haul flights.
I
So
love
it's all kind of
this
based
is
on my
so
coaching
cute.
cabin themed. Um, so yeah, so I believe that every doctor should have access to a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, counsellors have access to supervision. Over here in the UK, GPs don't have access to supervision. So coaching is so valuable, as you know, and I really
Mm-hmm.
do believe we need to take more care of our doctors and physicians. So yeah, I'm here for any physician with any issue or any challenge that they face.
I love that. So I think a lot of people have never heard of coaching or don't really know what would be happening in their lives that they would contact a coach. What
Mhm.
would you suggest that some of the situations where people have contacted you, because and they just were kind of asking you like, is this the right situation for a coach? I don't know, you know, because some people say, well, do I need a counselor? Do I need a coach? Do I need a psychologist? Do I need to just sleep? Like, what do I
Yes,
need?
yes, sleep is everything.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yes.
Um, I think I think the important thing for anyone to know is coaching is forward moving and it's solution focused. And yeah, we acknowledge the emotions of whatever you're going through, but that's the main difference between coaching and counselling. The type of things I see clients with are loss of self-confidence. They've got a loud inner critic or imposter that is just getting louder and louder. They may have lost direction in their career. They may have lost their mojo and their well-being. They may have lost their work-life balance, loss of self-confidence, loss of purpose and path. So there's a lot of loss. The theme
Yeah.
is a lot of loss and a loss of connection with themselves, as I say. Um, but coaching, as long as there's not a knowledge gap in the client, you can coach around any issue, any challenge they're facing, relationship difficulties at work or at home. Yeah, anything. I think coaching's rooted in well-being, so anything that's affecting their well-being, coaching works beautifully with.
I love it. And what do you remember when you first were exposed to coaching? What do you remember thinking about coaching when you first learned of it or experienced it personally?
For me, Mary, I can remember the first course I did as a GP and thinking, wow, this really removes the emotion from the situation that I was being coached about, and it enabled me to take a step back, to think to the end of my thoughts, and then to decide on my next right step for me to take. And that was within 15 minutes with a coach. And it was really a light bulb moment for me, how powerful it was.
That's amazing. I think that's true, right? I
Mhm.
don't think coaching has to take a long time. I think some people think it might have to take a lot of sessions to get into
Mm.
things. And I do feel, I personally think about 3 months of working with someone at least, to
Mhm.
really be able to gain some really deep insights that can lead to change. But I agree. Like, I think we learn how to be coaches where I work. If we want, if we get invited kind of in to learn how to be a coach, and then we can help our fellow doctors within my institution where I work. So we would take a 4-day learning how to do that. But I wanted more, I wanted even more training. So I learned how to be a Hello 7 business coach, that I
Mhm.
help women docs who are building a business or thinking about a business, how to grow that or think about that. Um, because yeah, my eyes were open, but I did find it hard to be a coach when I
Mhm.
was used to being a diagnostician, because I was used to saying, here's the problem, here's the answer. Here's the problem, here's the answer.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
find
right.
that it took a little
Yeah,
time to
it
like
did.
let it come forward, the solution?
Yeah, it does indeed. You just have to hold that silence and hold
Mm-hmm.
your own thoughts. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
agree. Uh,
Mm-hmm. I think that's special. That's the special thing about coaching. I think everybody has the answer. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of power to just sitting one-on-one with someone focused on you and this
yeah.
intense conversation, not intense, but a conversation, really a focused conversation, because life is so rushed and busy. And generally when I'm at work, we have a lot of ways people are talking with me, paging me, calling me. And at home, my house is a little quieter these days, but it used to be, I have 4 children, so
Mhm.
usually a lot of activity. So yeah, it's neat with coaching. I think it's very powerful to take the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, just
yes,
that space and that headspace just to be
right.
for an hour out of the busyness of life. Yeah, I agree.
Very powerful. A lot can happen, I think, even in 1 hour. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's your experience too. Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So how do people find you? How do they come to your plane or to contact
Well,
you?
there's my website, which is www.thegpcoach.co.uk.
Okay.
Um, and I'm on LinkedIn, Dr. Michelle Gooding,
I love
and
it.
email me, michelle@thegpcoach.co.uk.
I love
So
it.
easy to find me.
Okay. And do you find that, thank you for sharing that. Do you find that, leaving medicine now as a coach, do
Mhm.
you find there's similarities in those roles?
Yeah, I do, Mary. I actually believe that I'm given medicine in a different way now.
Hmm.
And being a coach is an extension of me as a GP and family doctor. I was always passionate about communication skills and questioning style. And now to get a whole hour with a doctor client is just such a privilege compared to 10 minutes in the UK with your patient. Um, so all skills are valuable, and I believe all my medical skills and GP skills I'm still using apart from the diagnostician part.
Hmm.
So yeah, so coaching brings me much joy.
I love, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're on this journey and you're supporting people and you're giving flight to their new ideas and their new
Yeah,
days, right?
absolutely. Me too. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I love it. So what would
Yeah.
you say to that doc that woke up today thinking, I don't know, something's got to give. Like life is flying by. I need to do something soon. What would you say to that doc?
I'd probably say a couple of things. One, just take a deep breath in and have the courage to take the next step to reach out, just to have that initial free chat to see what coaching can do for you and if it's the right thing for you to do. And then the other thing I would say was take any opportunity to have coaching because it will benefit your well-being in ways that you can't imagine right now, but it will benefit you and your well-being.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for all that you do and sharing your skills with us and your journey. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Mary. It's been lovely to connect with you and
Oh, it
speak
is.
to
I
you.
know. Someday if I'm ever in, I'm going to knock and just hopefully come and visit,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, you can step on board anytime.
That's so exciting. Okay, well, stay well, okay?
All right, thank
All right,
you.
take
You too.
care.
Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.